There's a fine line between genius and insanity, and back in the 1970s, Lancia didn't just walk that line, they erased it entirely. You see, at the time, rally cars were road cars first and race cars second. Manufacturers would take production models, reinforce the chassis, stiffen the suspension, bolt some extra horsepower, and send them off to battle. But Lancia wasn't interested in playing by those rules. They wanted to break them. Instead of simply modifying road cars to withstand the harsh demands of rallying, they decided to build a machine from the ground up with a single purpose: winning at all costs. Equipped with a Ferrari V6, a mid-engine layout, cutting-edge aerodynamics, and a suspension system like no other, the Lancia Stratos debuted as the first car in history engineered exclusively to win rally championships. It was a car so audacious and so detached from its competitors that you'd rather expect to see it on the Back to the Future film set than on the rally stages of Europe. But despite its crazy design and all the uncertainty surrounding its release, the Stratos was quick, precise, and most importantly, dominant. This is how Lancia went from crazy to genius, and how one car turned the impossible into the inevitable. It was a rainy day on the island of Corsica in November of 1972, as rally enthusiasts were about to witness a historic day for motorsport. After months of anticipation and over 2 years in production, the Lancia Stratos was about to debut in the infamous Tour de Corse, racing as a Group 5 prototype with Sandro Minari behind the wheel. Known as the Rally of 10,000 Turns, the French course was notorious for its narrow mountain roads, asphalt surface, and countless hairpin turns. It was, without a doubt, the perfect test for Lancia, as they were about to find out if they could live up to the expectations set by their audacious promise. As the engines revved and the so-awaited race began, the spectators stared in awe as the Stratos roared to life. Its Ferrari V6 echoed through the Corsican mountains as its sleek, wedge-shaped design drifted through the rain-slicked roads of the French island. Yet, if there's something we've learned as motorsport enthusiasts, it's that excitement can turn into disappointment at mind-boggling speeds. After just a few stages of the rally, the Stratos' rear uprights couldn't handle the enormous power of the V6 Dino engine, forcing Minari to withdraw early from the race due to suspension failures. What was supposed to be a historic day for Lancia fans ended up being an overwhelming disappointment. Yet, for Cesare Fiorio, the head of the rally division, this was nothing more than just an expected setback. Despite the backlash of people calling him and Lancia crazy, he argued that this version of the Stratos was still just a prototype, and that the car had a long way to go before reaching its full potential. At the end of the day, Lancia's approach to accomplishing its vision was the good old trial and error. Since they were creating something entirely new in the world of motorsport, the only way to move forward was to test new things and keep iterating until the ambitious experiment worked out. In fact, the first design concept, the Lancia Stratos Zero, was far different from the production car that competed in the Tour de Corse in 1972. 2 years before the race, in 1970, Lancia had unveiled the Stratos Zero to the public at the Turin Motor Show in an attempt to capture attention and convey their vision. Designed by Marcello Gandini from Gruppo Bertoni and inspired by the legendary Lamborghini Miura, the Stratos Zero shocked the public with its futuristic, wedge-shaped, sharply sloped design that blended into the hood. Despite initial worries about public reception, it was an immediate success. Motorsport fanatics and industry insiders alike were captivated by its futuristic design and the promise of being the first car made exclusively for rally. However, the truth was that the Stratos Zero would not become a racing car on its own. It was a pure exercise in design. Fiorio and his team at Lancia now had to convince Fiat to greenlight the production of 500 units to be homologated in the prestigious Group 4. To do that, however, they had to transform the Stratos into something a bit more practical. Mechanical components from the concept had to be standardized with existing Fiat models. The interior needed to be vastly simplified, weight had to be reduced, and most importantly, the Lancia V4 engine that Fiorio wanted to include had to be replaced by the Ferrari V6 that, at the time, was being used in Ferrari's entry car, the Dino 246. Yet, despite these changes sounding simple in principle, they were very hard to implement in practice. At this point, Lancia was severely entangled in bureaucratic issues with Fiat and Ferrari. Due to a buyout that had occurred a few years back, they had to dance to the beat of Fiat's drum and had little control over decisions. In 1969, 1 year before the Stratos Zero was designed, Lancia was heading towards bankruptcy. Despite being a pioneer in the automotive industry for 6 decades, the company dealt with £20 million of losses in the commercial market and a rapid decline in its rally division. Luckily, Gianni Agnelli, the owner of Fiat, wanted to transform his company into the world's richest motorsport brand. To achieve his goal, he sought to streamline Fiat into 3 brands rather than targeting just one market segment with its existing lineup. The parent brand, Fiat, would provide affordable cars for the masses. Lancia would target a mid-tier market, and Ferrari would remain their top-tier brand that served the elite. It was an ambitious feat, but after capitalizing on the post-World War II automobile boom, Agnelli raised enough money to acquire 50% of Ferrari shares in June 1969 and 100% of Lancia just 1 month later. Back in 1971, now that Lancia and Ferrari were under the umbrella business of Fiat, Enzo Ferrari, or Il Commendatore, as people would call him, refused to supply Lancia with the Dino V6 for the Stratos' first production model. He viewed the release of the Stratos as potential competition for his Dino model, and didn't like the fact that the Ferrari brand was involved in a rather cheap project compared to his standards. Being Ferrari we're talking about, this was clearly not a surprising decision. As a result, Lancia was forced to use the less powerful Lancia Fulvia 1.6 engine for the initial production runs. This caused significant development delays with the new model and resulted in intense discussions between the executives of both teams. For months, they couldn't find an agreement that worked for both as production remained stalled. While the Fulvia had enjoyed considerable success in rallying, the unveiling of the Stratos Zero had created significant anticipation among the rally enthusiasts, placing immense pressure on Cesare Fiorio and his team to launch the Stratos as quickly as humanly possible. Fortunately, around 6 months after the discussion started, Il Commendatore made a surprising declaration that changed the fate of the Stratos. He concluded that the Dino model no longer aligned with his future vision for Ferrari. He never liked the idea of a cheap Ferrari in the first place and believed that the brand should only focus on high-performance vehicles to uphold its prestigious image. As a result, he discontinued the Dino model line entirely and redirected resources towards developing more exclusive Ferrari models like the Ferrari 308 or the iconic F40. As a result, about 6 months after the discussions began, Fiat found itself with a surplus of Dino V6 engines, now available for Lancia's use. This unexpected turn of events not only saved significant production costs, but also accelerated the timeline for producing the Stratos. With these obstacles finally cleared out of the way, Lancia could concentrate its efforts on engineering the future legend of rally. In October 1971, almost a year after starting production, Lancia unveiled the Stratos high-fidelity prototype at the Turin Motor Show. Unlike the Stratos Zero, this version was meticulously engineered to achieve absolute dominance on the stages. It featured a mid-mounted engine, a lightweight fiberglass body, a chassis exclusively designed for endurance, and a potent Dino V6 engine capable of producing 240 horsepower. For the fans, the Stratos was regarded as a masterpiece of engineering, sparking excitement among motorsports enthusiasts eager to witness its debut at the 1972 Tour de Corse. In motorsport, the chance for redemption often comes swiftly, and for the Lancia Stratos HF, that moment arrived just 1 month after its disappointing debut at the Tour de Corse. In December 1972, the Stratos was ready to prove itself at the Rally of Costa del Sol in Malaga, Spain, a race that was also part of the European Rally Championship. With Sandro Minari and Mario Menucci behind the wheel, the Stratos faced formidable competitors, including Group 5 prototypes and modified production cars from Porsche, Alpine Renault, BMW, and Ford. But just like a shadow from the past, lingering issues from the Tour de Corse haunted Lancia. Despite extensive modifications and testing, the team could not eliminate the persistent suspension problems that plagued the previous performance. Once again, Minari was forced to retire early from the race, bringing Lancia's year to a disappointing close with much skepticism from fans. Regardless, Fiorio and the team at Lancia were willing to persist in their trial and error approach. Over the next 4 months, Lancia's engineers worked tirelessly to enhance the Stratos HF with reinforced wishbones, Bilstein telescopic dampers, and Eibach coil springs. These upgrades significantly improved stability and handling, allowing the Stratos to finally harness the power of its V6 engine just in time for the next race. In early April 1973, the Stratos was finally ready, and the third attempt came at the Firestone Rally in Alicante, a track known for its challenging mix of asphalt and gravel stages. In this opportunity, Lancia faced the same caliber of participants as in the previous two races: Porsche, Alpine Renault, BMW, and Ford. They were all trying to take away their spotlight and use the hype built around the Stratos to demonstrate their own capabilities. As the engines revved and the race started, Minari and Manucci took to the stages, weighing approximately 980 kilograms and producing around 240 horsepower. The Lancia Stratos HF accelerated out of corners with impressive agility. As the sound of the V6 roared stronger than ever, its remarkable cornering capabilities allowed it to maintain high speeds through every bend and complete each stage with great confidence. Minari's skillful driving, combined with the Stratos' overwhelming power, led to a flawless run. With no mechanical issues this time, Lancia finished the race strong and claimed victory a whopping 30 seconds ahead of Leif Osterhag from BMW. They had finally done it. After working and fighting tirelessly for over 4 years, the Lancia Stratos HF had claimed its first victory. For Cesare Fiorio and the Lancia team, this victory was a testament to their dedication and perseverance. But it was also just the beginning of their longed-for revolution. Following their triumphant win at the Firestone Rally in April 1973, the Lancia Stratos continued to build on its success. Just 5 weeks later, on May 15th, it competed in the Targa Florio, finishing in a respectable second place against formidable rivals. Yet this performance set the stage for its next big challenge, the Tour de France Automobile in September 1973. Covering a total distance of 5,668 kilometers, this event pushed man and machine to their limits. It wasn't just another rally. It was a grueling test of endurance and skill that combined transit stages over public roads with timed special stages on closed circuits. In a stunning display of performance and precision, the Stratos not only conquered the challenging terrain, but also claimed a convincing victory in this prestigious event, finishing over 4 minutes ahead of the Porsche 911 Carrera 3.0 and the Alpine A110. This sent a loud and clear message to the world. The Stratos is here to stay and to elevate the sport to the next level. But just when the world of motorsport thought that the Stratos had nothing more to prove, great news arrived at the Fiat headquarters. Changes in homologation rules meant that the 492 models out of the supposed 500 already produced were now sufficient for Lancia's application to be approved. Not only did this mean that they could now compete in the newly announced World Rally Championship the following year in the Group 4 category, but it also meant that the car was now eligible for more upgrades. With a renewed focus from Fiorio and his team, along with Fiat's unwavering support, engineers meticulously fine-tuned the Ferrari Dino V6 engine to produce approximately 275 horsepower, 35 more than before, and reduce its weight by 100 kilograms, bringing it down to less than 900. What followed for the Stratos was nothing short of a rallying revolution. With its now iconic frog-eyed design and even more exceptional power-to-weight ratio, the Stratos made its highly anticipated debut in the World Rally Championship in October 1974. Here, it quickly established itself as a formidable contender for the title after a very convincing win at the Sanremo Rally. However, the next race was in the infamous Tour de Corse, and both the Lancia team and fans were anxious about what happened in 1972. Yet, with Jean-Claude Anjouet at the wheel this time, the team was ready to redeem themselves from the huge disappointment and end the curse of the French island. As the race started, Anjouet's exceptional driving skills, together with the now considered wonder car of the century, navigated the treacherous Corsican roads with precision and speed, ultimately leading to another resounding victory and silencing all the doubters. Following this triumph, the Stratos continued to dominate, securing wins in other significant events throughout the season, like the RAC and the Targa Florio rallies. By accumulating enough points from these victories, Lancia was crowned the undisputed champion of the World Rally Championship in December of 1974. The following year, in 1975, while competing in its second season of the World Rally Championships, the Stratos faced one of its greatest challenges. Now at the Monte Carlo Rally, a legendary event known for its treacherous icy roads and twisting paths that had humbled many seasoned drivers. Behind the wheel, Sandro Minari demonstrated extraordinary skill and control, guiding the Stratos to a stunning victory and crossing the finish line nearly 2 minutes ahead of its closest rival. This remarkable performance showcased the car's capabilities to the millions of people watching and solidified its reputation as the dominant force in rallying. Throughout the rest of 1975 and 1976, the Stratos continued to build on its success, conquering stage after stage across Europe and securing win after win. From 1974 to 1976, the Stratos reached the pinnacle of rally performance, claiming 3 consecutive World Rally Championship titles while establishing itself as one of history's most iconic and successful rally cars. In the end, it became exactly what it was created to be. As Cesare Fiorio once said, the Stratos was not just a car, it was a revolution in rallying, a machine that changed the game's rules. At the end of the day, Fiorio and Lancia proved one thing to the world during the reign of the Stratos: they were both crazy and genius.